is going to cover jiu-jitsu counters, escapes, and reversals to various arm locks, chokes, and ground positions. This is tape number 1. Let's get right to work. In this situation here, you're inside of your opponent's guard. And you begin to pass his guard by slipping your hand through his leg. And as you come across, he begins a triangle choke by using his legs. One way to counter this is like this. You're in here, you pass the guard, he begins the triangle, you grab the lapel or the shoulder, and you bring his knee to his nose while you walk around the side here. This is going to make the position uncomfortable for your opponent. Now you take your elbow and you point it to the ground, creating a choke. And now you've countered the triangle choke. Once again, you're inside. You slide your hand through. He begins. Come in here. Knee to nose. That creates an uncomfortable position. Elbow to ground creates a choke. And now you have just countered the triangle choke and you're in a position of advantage. One more time. That will conclude this technique. In this situation here, you're inside of your opponent's guard, and your opponent executes a straight arm lock. Comes over, and by extending his hips, he hyperextends your elbow and creates a straight arm lock. One of the ways of countering this is as follows. He comes over, and he brings his legs across. The first thing you're going to do is grab your hand and lean your weight forward, okay? It's gonna buy you a little time before you're able to counter. So you grab your arm here, grab your hand on your arm, and lean your weight forward. You don't wanna go back because that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to get your weight going back so that he can extend his hips up and break your arm. So you grab the arm and lean your weight forward. Now you begin to stand up, okay? And putting your weight down, create an uncomfortable position for your opponent. Now what you're gonna do from here, as he has his arms here, he's not gonna let go because this is his move, is you're gonna come up, picking up your opponent. Don't use your back, use your legs, like so. And then you're gonna begin to slam your opponent down. At this point, as you begin to slam your opponent down, his position is gonna weaken a bit, and it's going to become a little loose, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get your elbow past his leg, like so. You have your arm here. You're going to begin to yank your arm out so that the elbow is past his leg, and you're no longer in danger of getting arm locked, like so. You're here. I just slammed him. If you don't find the position loose, do it again. Come up and slam. Now from here, begin to yank your arm. And as you get here, you're going to come out. The legs are going to go across, and you're going to go down in a cross-body position. Once again. Come inside. He comes over with the leg. Grab the arm. Lean the weight forward. Start to get up, coming across his side. Now, he has his arm here. He has your arm. He ain't going to let go because he wants the arm lock. You're going to use your legs and bring your opponent up and start to slam. As you begin to slam, you begin to loosen his position here, his hold, by yanking the arm out. Once you're here, you come out, legs come across, and now you get down in the cross-body position. One more time. Hold on tight. Go ahead. You come here. Here, hold on tight. Hold down, hook your leg. You're right here. Boom. Now you begin to yank out. And you're in the cross-body position. That's one way of countering a straight arm lock when you're inside the opponent's guard. And that will conclude this technique. In this situation here, you're inside your opponent's guard. And the opponent executes a double lapel choke. What he does is he uses your jacket and he brings his arms across here, and with the jacket he comes down and he cuts the air supply to your brain, thus creating a choke. As he begins to position his arms, you should immediately recognize what's going to happen here. You should immediately recognize that he's going to use your jacket to choke you out. What you're going to do is you're going to bring your head up and back here like this so that he can extend his arms and create a hole here. Now, you're going to take your hand and you're going to feed your hand through the hole, straight through, and grab the back of your head. What that's going to do is that's going to block his arm from pressing against the carotid artery, cutting the air supply to your brain. So you're here, as he begins to choke, you counter it. Once again, he comes in, he begins to position. The minute he starts to position, you yank back, go through, and then grab the back of your head. If you don't do that, if you come in and he comes down with the technique, now I'm not going to be able to feed my hand through the hole because he's just closed the gap. Now he'll choke. And I'm not going to be able to counter. So once again, he comes in. The minute he starts setting up, you come up. You're only going to have a second. The door's going to open. Go through that door there, through the hole, around the back of your head. And now you're in the fight. He's going to have to let go and try something else, at which time you're going to be able to react. That's going to conclude this technique. In this situation here, you're on the bottom, and your opponent's inside of your guard. Now you have your opponent in what I call a defensive tie-up, which is head down, trap an arm, your head up. And what this does is it limits the ability for your opponent to get a clean shot on you. But what happens sometimes is that this side here is exposed. And then the opponent will try or begin to punch you on the ribs to get you to react so that he can escape. One way to counter this hand is by doing the following. As he begins to punch, you release your legs and put the leg on his hip. Put the leg on his hip and touch your elbow to your knee, like so. Now take this leg so he doesn't come up and bring it over. Now, as he begins to punch, he doesn't have the target that he had before, like so. He had this target before. Now I come in, elbow touches the knee, leg comes over the top, and now he doesn't have the ankle to hurt me. Even if he manages to punch your side, he's not going to have the proper distance to create power and hurt you. Okay, once again, I'm in here. He begins to punch. I come in. Foot goes on the hip. Elbow touches. And now I'm here. That doesn't give him the angle that he needs to be effective. Very simple counter, very effective. And that's going to conclude this technique. In this situation here, your opponent is cross body on you, has cross side, and both of his legs are over, and he has you in a straight arm lock. He goes back, and by extending his hips, he breaks your arm. One of the ways you can counter this situation is, first of all, coming up and grabbing your arm to buy you a little time. Okay, grab the arm. And then what you're going to do with your legs is you're going to start rocking back and forth, looking for the chance to spin out of there, out of this situation here, like so. He attempts to go back. You're going to start rocking, rocking, and then you're going to spin out. Okay? Getting your elbow past his legs. If the elbows are inside of his legs, he's going to hyperextend your elbow, and that's what's going to create either a sprain, a dislocation, or a break. But by coming inside, past his legs, you're no longer in danger of getting arm locked. Do this again. How your opponent got here is inconsequential. Okay, there are many different ways that he's going to get to this position. What's important for you to know is how to counter this position when you're here. He comes in, grab the arm to buy some time, and begin to rock up and down, back. Now this requires timing here because he's trying to get you to go this way. Okay, so this requires timing. As you start rocking back and forth, you're going to spin. And when you begin to spin, that you get your elbow past his legs, now you're in a position to come up and begin to pass the guard. We're going to look at this from a different angle so you can see the leg motion here. We'll do it from here. Okay, he has it. First thing you do is come up and block. This is going to buy you some time. Now you're going to begin to rock. He's trying to go. And then you start to bring it out. Okay? It's basically this. You're here, and as you come in, you're going to spin so that it comes past his leg. That's going to enable you to then get into a position of advantage so that you can execute an offense and finish the fight any way you want. That will conclude this technique. In this situation here, you're on the bottom and your opponent is across side. And from this position here, your opponent is going to shoot his knee across to mount you. As he begins to mount, he's going to have a trailing leg. This leg is going to trail. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn to your side and take your elbow and touch your knee here. Okay? As he continues to come across the mount, the knee's going to come over his leg. It comes across now, the leg comes over. And now what you're going to do here is you're going to bear hug your opponent and you're going to roll him in this direction. Here, you trap his leg and you roll him in this direction so that you can get to the mounted position. Once again, opponent is across side, he comes across, you turn into the leg that's trailing, touching elbow to knee. As he continues the movement, you come up under and hook the leg. Bear hug and roll in that direction. You can finish with a variety of chokes and arm locks or strikes, but that's how you reverse that position. We'll do it one more time. Go. That will conclude this technique. In this situation here, you're inside of your opponent's guard. And what the opponent does is, he comes up and gets you in a headlock choke, guillotine style, like this. Okay? He brings his arms together, and then he'll go back, and then he'll execute the choke by extending his legs. What he's doing is stretching your neck out. One way to counter this, he comes up. First thing you want to do as he joins his arms is grab the arm. Bring your arm inside here and grab his hand or his arm to relieve some of the pressure. Now your opponent goes down to finalize the move, and what you're going to do is you're going to take this hand and you're going to place it on his shoulder here. Okay, now you're going to take the elbow here and bring it to the ground, creating a choke as you stand up, like so. He has his legs scissored around. He's going for the choke. Come up, bring elbow to the ground. And as he releases here, as the move becomes loose, you're going to be able to pull the arm and get your head out of the hold. Once again, he comes up, immediately grab here, grab the inside of the arm to relieve the pressure. He goes down, hand goes right on the shoulder, bringing your elbow to the floor to create a choke as you stand up. Now, you're able to slide your head out. One more time. Once you're here, you can control his hands, and then you can implement an escape or whatever you want to do. It's a very simple counter, very effective, and that's going to conclude this technique. In this situation here, your opponents managed to get on your back, okay? Which is a very dangerous position for you to be in. You're here, and somehow your opponent managed to get it onto your back. He's an experienced grappler that hooks his legs in so that he can maintain superior control. Okay, something you might try is this. First thing you're gonna do is trap one of his arms so he doesn't use it to keep his balance. You're gonna trap one of the arms here. Now the problem here is the legs, his legs. His legs are hooked inside and he has pretty good control of his position. You're gonna have to unhook his legs. And the way to do that is to get on your knees and have your knees go out in opposite directions. So you're gonna bring your hip down to the ground like so. Once you do this, you're gonna crisscross your legs. You're gonna come in and crisscross your legs. Now you're gonna take this elbow and touch your knee like this, peeling his foot off from around your hip. Now you have one arm trapped. Now this leg is off. All you have to do now is roll him over. And now you can get into the cross-body position. Once again, he comes inside, immediately hook one of the arms. Okay? Your knees go in opposite directions, your hip goes down to the ground. Now crisscross your legs, here, crisscross them. Take your elbow, touch your knee, peeling the foot off from under your hip. Now you roll the opponent over. And now you can get into the cross-body position. We're going to show you this from a different angle so that you can see what I mean about crisscrossing your legs. We'll do it from here. Opponent comes over, he hooks the legs in. You're going to trap his arm. I'm going to trap his right arm. Bring it in. Okay, now my knees are going to go in opposite directions and my hips are going to touch the ground. I'm going to crisscross my legs like so. And take my elbow here and touch my knee. Now he doesn't have that hook that he needed to maintain his position. From here, I can just come up and roll the opponent over my shoulder, gaining the position of advantage. That's going to conclude this technique. In this situation here, you're on the bottom, like so, and your opponent is over the top with his arms wrapped around your waist. Two things that have to be done here. First, a reversal of this position. Second, we're going to have to break the hold that he has around the waist. Let's deal with the first part of the move. One of the ways to reverse this position is by trapping his arm here. You're going to come across and trap his arm. On the same side that you trap the arm, you're going to extend your leg, like so. Okay? And now you're going to roll in the direction that the arm and the leg are extended. This is extended, this is trapped. You're going to roll in this direction here. Bring your arms out so that he doesn't continue the movement and get you back into position. Right here, okay? Then we're going to, the second part of this involves breaking this hold. But let's do this again. You're here. Maybe you went for a double leg takedown. It really doesn't matter how you got here, but for whatever reason, the opponent's over the top. Trap the arm immediately. Because if you don't trap the arm and you try to roll him, he's going to release and put the hand here like so. If I do this, he's going to be able to break, and I'm not going to be able to roll him. So you're going to trap his arm here. Trap his arm, and then extend your leg back. Now you roll. And you break so that he doesn't continue the movement and get you back into the same position. Okay, now let's address breaking the hold here so that you can gain the position of advantage. Turn around. Okay, we managed to reverse the position, but he still has the hold on you. Okay. Two things here. There's going to be two ways that your opponent's going to have his hands gripped. He's either going to have his hand on his wrist like so, or he's going to come into like a wrestling type grip where he interconnects his fingers here like so. All right, well, first let's address his hand on his wrist. All right, what you're going to do from here is you're going to come in right here and go behind his elbow, trapping his elbow so that there's no movement. When you trap his elbow, you're going to come under his hand like so by using this as a guide. Come under his hand, your elbow goes in and your hand goes in to meet each other, creating a wrist lock, gooseneck style, like so. I'm here, come in this way, under, and now what you're going to do is create a wrist lock here. And that's going to have him release. Once he releases, you'll be able now to come around into a cross-body position, which offers you a variety of arm locks, chokes, and strikes to finish your opponent. But this tape doesn't cover finishing moves. It covers escapes and reversals. So how you finish your opponent is up to you. Once again, he's here, like so. I got my balance. One, I have to look at how the hands are positioned. One, here, come under. Now I bring them together, creating a wrist lock. It's going to break the hold. Then I'm going to come around into the cross-body position, which allows me a variety of finishing holds. Okay, now let's address something else. What if your opponent doesn't have his hand on his wrist, but has his hands interconnected like so? He comes in, he interconnects his hands, you're here maintaining your balance. Okay, what you're going to do now, instead of going behind one elbow, you're going to go behind two elbows, like this. And you're going to bring your arms together, okay? Like so. As you bring your arms together, his hands are going to come up. Now, if he really has a tight grip, it might come up just a little bit. That's okay, that's all you need right there. Now, you're going to look for the wrist, like this position, the top position. If he had it the other way around, it would be this wrist. And as this comes over the top like this, you're going to be able to come in and create a wrist lock again. If he grabs the other way, if he grabs like this, I'm going to come in like that, and then I'm going to come in with a wrist lock. The same exact thing. Locking down, he's going to release the grip, and then you're going to go into a cross-body position. From here you can finish a variety of ways, come in with a variety of strikes, arm locks, and chokes. Okay? It's a very simple way of reversing and then breaking the opponent's grip. And that's going to conclude this technique. Okay, in this position here, the opponent is mounted on top of you. He's mounted on top, and what he's managed to do is grab your arm, feed it to the other arm that's under your neck, and then he's going to pull this arm, and now he's going to be in excellent position to finish you off in a variety of ways. This hand cannot reach his face. and it does very little to block here. It offers very little as far as blocking. So I'm going to show you one way of countering this position. Okay. Opponent's going to grab the hand, and the first thing you're going to do as he grabs his hand is you're going to maintain your head on the ground. Don't bring your head up, because if you bring your head up to try to get out, it's going to make it easy for him to come under your neck and then grab the arm that he's feeding over. So you want to keep your head down, so that the only way he can come in under your neck is through this little hole under your neck here, okay? That's the only way he can do it. All right. Now, as he grabs here and he feeds this over, I'm going to take my hand and open it like so, and I'm going to cup that little hole that he's attempting to get his arm through. So now, all he's thinking about is getting that arm in under my neck so that he can grab my arm. While he's thinking about this, he's struggling with this, I'm going to take my free hand and I'm going to push his knee. Push his knee in that direction. As I push his knee, I'm going to take my knee, I'm going to position my body a little bit back here to create a little distance, and I'm going to slide my knee under, hooking his knee here. Then I'm going to point my foot up to the ceiling, and he's going to lose his balance and roll in that direction. Because he's leaning forward to try to fight this. He's trying to get his position here. So I'm going to go up like this, and I'm going to be able to throw him over and then come up with a position of advantage. We'll do that again. Okay, I'm here, he's mounted on top. He brings his arm across. Bring your head down. Immediately, your head goes down. The hand opens up and cups the hole that he's trying to go under. Right? Now, while he's struggling here to get this, the hand pushes the knee in this direction, and then you move. Your body's not a dead log. You don't just stay here, because the movement right now, his position is tight, and there is no room for me to slide the knee in. So I have to move here. I push and I move out a little bit, creating some distance here. Now I hook his knee, and my foot points directly to the ceiling. And then I can come over the top and bring my body over. We're going to look at this from a different angle. I'm going to show you the position that he has and how vulnerable you are, and then we'll show you from a different angle the same escape. I'm going to show it to you from this angle here. He comes in, he feeds, there he is, he grabs my arm, he pulls, and look at how vulnerable you are. I can't reach him. He's in a great position to pummel me. He's also in a great position to execute a variety of arm locks and chokes and finish the fight. So it's a very poor position for you to be in. Okay, once again, he comes in. First thing you do is don't raise your head. It's going to make it easy for him to come under. No, you don't do that. Keep your head low. Now, you open your hand like so, and you bring it right under your chin to cover up the small hole that he's trying to go through with his other arm. Okay? While he's fighting with this position, this hand is going to push at his knee here. Okay, remove this arm. This hand is going to push at his knee, and then I'm going to move my body like so that I can create a little hole here to feed my knee in. Now I've just hooked his knee here. So he has me here. He's trying to fight with this position here. Now I take my foot and I point it towards the ceiling like so. And then I'm able to come over the top to gain the position of advantage. That's one way of countering that hold. Very vulnerable position for you to be in. And it's a position that if you don't know how to counter, you're going to lose. He's going to put you to sleep, or he's going to hurt you very badly. Okay, that's going to conclude this technique. That's going to conclude this tape on jiu-jitsu counters, escapes, and reversals to arm locks, chokes, and some ground positions. It's important when you drill these techniques that your partner go at 50%. What I mean by 50% is